Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel RVCCISinfo, where faculty representatives from Rock Valley College's Computers and Information Systems Department talks to you, our community at large, about things roughly having to do with computers and information systems. Joining me today, as always, is Stephanie.
Hi.
Howdy, everybody. I'm Eric, and today we thought with the start of the new year, with classes still being hybrid and online, that we would talk about some tech that you really should have to get the most out of online learning.
Yeah. Just the essentials. So today we'll talk about the essentials, and then we'll add later. Like Eric and I always do.
For our next show, after this one will be, this is the necessities, and then will come the nice to haves, those little small incremental improvements that really do lead to a nicer quality of life. So, but these are the bare essentials. So go ahead.
I was gonna say the first two, mic and webcam.
Yep, a mic and a webcam. For those of you who have so far enjoyed being able to connect to a class or have a meeting with an instructor and you don't have a webcam, first of all, we know that's probably total BS. And I don't want to speak for every instructor, but I know it really irks me when I have to have a meeting where I have to talk into the camera and everything else. And I know full well I'm talking at a big black screen with nothing else happening there.
Right. Yeah. It's so much easier to know when you've got the person looking at you and you have their attention.
Right.
They're not distracted by something in the room. So
yeah. And microphones and webcams don't have to cost a lot anymore. We'll put a couple of different options down below. But what I will tell you is we have been putting a ton of that in our social media feeds over the last 2 weeks. So at RVCCISInfo on Twitter, on Facebook, has had webcams and microphones and a bunch of stuff. As a matter of fact, I bought another webcam this week just to keep at RVC.
Yeah, and my microphone on my laptop is terrible. So as I gather from Eric, so I bought a nice inexpensive one that Eric will put in the notes, and it works great. So inexpensive. I think I may have paid $28 for it. So
yeah, and there's not a ton of difference. This one is, I'm thinking, an Elgato Wave 3, and honestly, the quality is a little bit better than my Amazon Basics desktop mic, but it's about that much better. And the Amazon mic cost me $30. This was $130. So I probably overspent on this one.
Do you know what? That's what I was thinking when I got this other one for $28, $29. I'm like, I spent, because you freak out because of the pandemic and you got to get everything ready.
Right.
You want the best. And I spent way too much money on a Yeti Blue, and it wasn't way too much money. It's still a good microphone. So
yeah, I mean, so at any rate, microphone, webcam, but for the most part, if you have a laptop that's been minted in the last half a decade, even if it has a crummy webcam and a crummy microphone, that's going to be a good place to start from.
Yep. And I've had students that use their cell phones and they work really well.
Yeah, that works fine.
Yeah, iPhones are great. I had a student that had a Samsung phone that was awesome too. So, that works out really well. I've had to, in a pinch, use my cell phone at times.
Yep. I've done the same thing. So, yeah, absolutely. A cell phone will get you there in a pinch. So we've included in this, and now both of us are sensitive to how expensive school is, especially now. So we don't want you rushing out there and spending like a ton of money. But these are things that will definitely pay off either in the way of like ergonomics or use. And one of the things we both suggest is having a nice mouse.
Yeah, and I actually really like the Bluetooth rechargeable mice. I have switched over to that, and you can buy them very inexpensively, and it saves my life. I can use it even on the side, like if I'm sitting in my chair at home, I can use it
Yeah.
on the arm of the chair. It's just ridiculous how great they are now. So, and
Yeah.
I never pay a ton of money on those either. So
No, I think I have a $20 Microsoft basic Bluetooth. And so I think what we're saying is our preference is Bluetooth because it doesn't take up a USB receiver on your laptop or your desktop, because Bluetooth, it's all just built in. I mean, there really hasn't been a desktop or a laptop or even an iPad that doesn't come with Bluetooth anymore. So you may as well use that connection that you're not probably not leveraging enough of, and go with that. So if you have multiple devices, I have, and I got it at Costco. I think it's called the Triathlon. It's a Logitech mouse, and it can connect to 3 devices just by clicking a button. And that has been fantastic because I have my Mac here and the video editing Mac here, and I can just say, 1 or 2 based on which one I'm using. And I think it was $30.
Oh, that's really nice.
It wasn't that bad at all.
Yeah.
But it's much better for your wrist. It's much better, especially if you're going to do a lot of clicking over the course of a day, than like the trackpad would be on your laptop. So just for your own longevity, they really are worth the investment.
Yeah. Yeah. And not too crazy expensive. So,
Yeah,
and then as Eric was alluding to, plugging in USB devices. And if you have a laptop that doesn't have very many ports for USB, the USB hub is kind of a must for us.
Yeah, absolutely necessary. So we'll put links to everything down below. And really, you do not have to spend a ton of money. I have an Aukey. It's an Amazon primary brand. And I am sure it was $10. And a Sabrent is the other one I have.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So that's for sure the link we'll put in there then. But to turn one USB port into 4 that face you and that can get the cables out of the way, that's fantastic, because you're plugging in a mouse and a microphone and a webcam, and it just makes things so much easier.
And if you don't, and you can get USB-C ones, there's just so many different options. So
yep, the only problem with USB-C is, if any of you can find a USB-C to multiple USB-Cs, leave us a comment down below, because I would like one. All my stuff is USB-C, and they're like, you can use one port to turn it into one more, and that is all. So it doesn't work that well. So there must be some reason for it, but I guess I don't understand what it is. And our very final suggestion for need to have for successful online learning is coffee.
Yep, caffeine.
Yep. It is the language of computer science is all predicated on coffee.
I used to have worked with an employer, and one of his questions was, what do you drink? And he was always looking for Mountain Dew because it was the highly caffeinated. And now he's like, now that I'm older, it's coffee.
Yep.
To keep me highly caffeinated.
That's a question I ask when I go on interviews, was always, is there a place around here that's got good coffee? Because otherwise, if it's all battery acid, you don't want to have to work there, because best case scenario, on your worst days when you need something to help pick you up, you don't want that stuff.
Yeah, and I always like the small cafes. That's a great question.
Yep. And it's an epitaph for Meg's Coffee, which is no longer with us at Rock Valley. So
no, that's the testing center. That's the COVID testing center right now.
Yep, that's true. I mean, I'm not saying we don't need COVID testing. I'm also saying I don't not need
Meg's
coffee. Yeah. So it's unfortunate. And any coffee will do. There's a lot of really inexpensive ways to get the elixir of the gods into you. So that's very good.
Yeah. So in kind of like wrapping everything up, you only really need 2 things. You can get a laptop with a microphone and a webcam on it, or if you have a desktop, you can do the separate, and we'll add the links below. And because if you're on a super strict budget, just worry about the microphone and the webcam, and then add the others as you can.
Right. Absolutely. One of the things I cannot believe that we missed this, because between Stephanie and I, this is one of our most purchased things, headphones.
Oh yeah.
So I think we had moved this for everybody who's still watching. The next one of our series here is going to be nice to haves for online learning. And really, I moved headphones up into need to have instead of nice to have. Hence, that's why we missed it. But it is amazing. Like, number one, how much of the outside world it blocks out. It's really incredible the first time you realize when you're typing away at a block of code or for a term paper or for whatever it is, and you can't hear your keys strokes. That's fantastic. And it just reduces the distractions. Headphones, and actually on virtual meetings, they're fantastic because most of the time a headphone comes with a better microphone than like this iMac would, or my laptop would. So headphones can really take care of a lot of that for you.
Yeah, especially if you have to make videos, like in speech class, I think you might have to make videos here and there. And
Right.
The headphones would be really helpful.
Yep, absolutely. And again, you can find a ton of suggestions for headphones and webcams and microphones and all of those things over on our social media. You can follow us at RVCCISInfo. We are on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and anchor.fm. While you're thinking about all of that, you can also like and subscribe and leave us a comment down below. If there's anything that you cannot live without, let us know. What has made your time here in the online space more tolerable? And join us next time around as we talk about things that you don't need to have, but do have a pretty substantial impact on your just the quality of life learning online.
Yeah. Helpful.
So on behalf of Stephanie, myself, Eric, and the rest of the Rock Valley College community, stay safe and stay sane out there, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.